The reason that I try to be in touch with governments directly, like let's say in different provinces, I don't know if there's a MP that is going to work on that, not just transfer certification or approvals, but actually make it that governments of provinces have public servants meant to, yes, we'd recruit you, we will supply housing for that profession, we will create a contract that's a win-win scenario because you need a contract. So one of the reasons it's pretty bright light on that truck. One of the reasons I try to connect with government, let's say if I want to be a corrections officer or a parole officer or something, is that I don't want to give up the PWD status that I've worked up here as my only form of pension, when, you know, it's easy to see that most industries can't deal with a Homo sapien. So even with a contract, it's a big risk for me to deal with broken systemic cultures, right? So that's why it would be that there's, I hope, a condition where transfer the PWD at least until we're in a probation period of, let's say, a year, and if we find we're a good fit, is then, you know, maybe you can let it go. I'll build a pension through the career, although, you know, I'm already about to turn 55 years old, and, you know, money I invested myself in a disability registered savings plan was stolen by the provincial and federal governments, you know, and that there still needs to be account for that. Anyways, if a province would transfer the PWD, so I could always fall back on that because, well, the norm is consistent, right? They can't act as not a sheep, and I'm not into sheep, right? I'm not into, if I become a veterinary technologist that I was asking about here, I'm not only interested in working with sheep, which is the people primates, right? The Homo communia, the norm. You know, and I'm not attracted to sheep. That's why it's hard to find somebody to date that is a self-actualized Homo sapien. And so what happened at the bank is I say I want to cancel Kudo, and maybe when they notice that it bounced, the payment of 28, they'll make a bigger effort to contact me, and I'll say it's too late. Please explain why you didn't do anything when it wasn't too late. And I say, well, can you look up the coordinates for the organization that is withdrawing $28 from me? And this is pretty much every bank, and that lady's really nice, and I was going to ask her out. She's wearing a ring. So it's not her, it's just a systemic banking for the violation of the human rights of consumers or bank account holders, as opposed to the business world, the money laundering world, right? Very rarely. We get more and more businesses now who offer fake services, and their shares keep going up. This is the new world of the Homo communia, living in their imaginary human chauvinism derived fake proto-civilizations. And so yeah, no, she was looking in Google, I can't find like an 800 number to call Kudo. And online, there's nothing. I mean, she just knows it's Kudo. I think it might say Kudo every month when they withdraw. So if that doesn't seem wrong to you as a politician, you know, from any province, then it kind of explains why nobody ever gets back to me, and I'll never be able to work in Canada, and I'll stay in poverty as somebody with the exact skill sets you need as everything keeps crumbling around you. Yeah, that's the way it is. So I'm just trying to find out, because I was recently recommended, oh yeah, don't do the vet assistant program, it's not worth that amount of money. I said, oh, that much? You know, it's a scam kind of thing. And of course we see in the news, you know, people can't afford medical care for their animal friends because capitalism is in there too. And it's funny, one of the persons said something that applies to people primates medical care. And it's like nobody caught on that, hey, how come everybody's going to hear this and I sympathized, and yet they don't sympathize at the same level for the people primates receiving. So if you think you'll solve the animal capitalism medical care issues when you don't sympathize as much for your own species issues, I mean, some people care more about the animals than they do about people, but that's because the people have their systemic issues that make it hard to care for them. If you don't realize yet, I care about you guys because you're part of the biosphere. Here, I look in your eyes when I say this. I care about you guys because I care about the biosphere and you're in it. And it's hard because you're the worst enemy this biosphere, meaning life, has ever had in the history of 4.5 billion years. I think the other kind of small planet crashing into Earth, becoming the moon, actually ended up being a positive thing, not much of a threat to this planet as you guys are as a species. That's how powerful you are, but only in a very anti-life way. So yeah, it's up to you guys if you want to slow down the Anthropocene or speed it up. But I'm going to keep cataloging it all, and next year it'll be a decade. So when there's a human rights complaint against all of Canada done at the federal level, and I have a decade worth of data, I'm not gonna testify for 17 years to give you that data or make boxes and boxes of photocopies. I'll just give you access to the data. And like in BC, if the federal human rights commissioner, whoever, is too lazy to do all the research of the data I give them before I show up in person or online, then I'm going to add that human rights advocacy federal organization, and then we're back to why I left Canada in the first place. And Norway screwed up sending me back by breaking their own rules instead of employing me, giving me a work visa while I was there instead.